Yo, 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 welcome back to the Further Your Lifestyle podcast, conversations on lifestyle, passions, and hustles. My name's Chris Furlong. I am your host, and I'm super excited to be back here having the conversation with you. And today is the big one. We have hit 100 episodes, and I just want to say a big, big thank you to you straight off the cuff, because I wouldn't have been able to do this if it wasn't for you. So thank you for tuning in, hanging out after these 100 episodes, and boy, oh boy, are we just getting started. And that's what we're talking about today. We're reflecting on 100 episodes, done and dusted, and it's been a journey to get here. Just under 2 years. I started this podcast 28th of February, 2021, which is just incredible and crazy to think back, because it's gone like that, right? And that's some of the things I'll be talking about today. But again, I just wanted to say a big, big thank you, because that is the number one thing that has enabled me to be able to achieve this is you guys, to each and every single one of you that listen each week and send me messages, leave a comment, or for those that have subscribed or commented or liked or even shared or even reviewed the podcast. It's been an amazing journey, and to be able to have that input and being able to continue that conversation with each and every single one of you that have interacted in that manner has been great. Now, if you are a silent lurker and you do listen and you don't leave a comment, that's fine too. I appreciate you. On average, I'm getting, between 35 and 45 listens per episode on average, and that's like double classroom size. And again, I'll be talking about that a little bit later into the episode. But again, thank you so much. It's been a surreal experience so far, and I'm looking forward to where this goes from here. Now, the other thing that I wanted to quickly dive into before we actually get into the juice of this episode, and boy, oh boy, I've got some exciting news, some very, very exciting news. So stick around, have a listen, because there's something here for everyone, I think. So first thing I want to do is quickly just reflect on the journey that it's taken to get here. And this is super important, because I think it's a great story to help encourage and inspire and maybe motivate you to, chase those goals, chase those dreams, and don't let things hold you back from making that happen. So if we zoom back and we pull back a little bit, back in middle of 2020, actually, that's when I was starting to have the thoughts and the conversations around stepping away from the 9 to 5 and, taking a chance on myself. And I still remember it as clear as day of when I was having those conversations with my boss and, figuring out what that was going to look like. Now, I knew it was going to be a journey, and it was going to be a bit of a risk and be a bit of a challenge and something scary to do. But I also knew that it all depended on me. No one else was going to get me to where I wanted to be. And I'm not just talking about the podcast or Further Your Lifestyle. I'm talking about anything and everything that I've achieved since, taking that chance on myself and then eventually resigning from that job. And it all came back to me. And all I knew that I had to do was I had to be willing to show up, and I knew I had to be willing to give it a go. And once you've got that, it does make it a little bit easier. But I won't lie, it has been it's been some scary stuff. So after I'd shared with my boss my intentions, it took about 6 months to finally wrap up and get out of that space. Now, I was able to take a leave of absence of up to 2 years, which I've now, obviously finished, and I resigned from the company at the end of last year. But essentially, it took a lot of courage to do, and I had to do a lot of planning, a lot of thinking of what that was going to look like, come start of 2021. I wanted to make sure that I was going to be diving into doing the podcast as quick as possible and getting that momentum running. But it took me almost 2 months to launch this podcast. I launched it on the 28th of February, as I said, and that was on 2021. And at the time, in lead up to this, I knew I wanted to get started, but I had never done it before. I was doing YouTube, but I'd never done the podcast. And at the time, there was this hype of Clubhouse, the app, which has kind of like disappeared now. But I remember getting into some deeper conversations and, being able to take some inspiration from other podcasters at the time. And there were some big players, actually. And I was in a Clubhouse chat just... it was about, getting started with podcasting and things like that. And there was a motivational speaker or best-selling author of The Law of Action by Rob Actis. And he invited me actually up on his virtual stage saying, he was basically asking the audience, why haven't you started your podcast? And I figured, stuff it. I'm going to put my hand up. I'm going to get up on stage. This is all virtual, just by voice, of course. Clubhouse was just a voice app. And he asked me, why haven't I started my podcast? And I said to him, it all came down to, I'm scared. I'm a bit fearful. And within seconds, He gave me a rundown of how by not starting, I may be making the worst decision of my life. And without giving it a go to know how well it could be, I would be doing myself and the world an injustice. Meaning, how dare I hold back and not give that opportunity for others to be able to learn, to be able to grow? Because he believed, just from what I had shared in my vision and mission, that I had some things there that were going to help, get other people ahead. And I was like, you don't even know me, dude. But like, he was convinced. And if I could convince him, he was more than happy to say that I've got what it takes, right? And to give me that motivation and encouragement. And I'm 100% so grateful for that. Like, because I look back at that now and I think, well, here we are, 2 years later, and it really did motivate me. And he also then asked me, when am I going to launch? So I told him 28th of Feb, 2021, that's when I was going to do it. And I think at the time it was like 3 weeks away when I had that conversation with him. So basically set everything out, set the date, set the schedule, and just got cracking. And then I did a couple of my own episodes, and then I had my first guests on as well, which was just crazy. Now, a follow-up from that, I had a good mate, who's a good mate now. At the time, he reached out to me after that conversation. He hit me up on Instagram saying, hey, look, I heard what you were doing on on Clubhouse, and I heard that you're going to be starting a podcast. If you need any help or anything, just let me know. And I was a little shocked because I'm like, who is this guy? I don't know who this guy is. And this guy was Justin Nolan. He's got his own podcast, and he goes by Just Tries. And again, I was just blown away by the help and the support and the encouragement and the love that, other people can bring. Now, he was just another fella wanting to, chase his big dreams and make it a reality. And we had some, amazing chats and conversations. He's been a guest on the podcast here a couple of times. And, from that, it once again reminds me that, it is so easy to make these things happen. I'm not saying it's easy in the sense of like, it's not going to take a lot of hard work, but once we get rid of the fluff and actually just get over ourselves and get moving, and with the support of others, you can get flying pretty quick. And I'm not doing big numbers or anything like that, but to me, I'm proud of this because I'm the one that's gone out and done it. So that's an encouragement to you. You can do this too. Long story short, I digress. Imagine if I had let that fear take over. Imagine if I had never started. Imagine if I had, not taken the action to start. Now, I had no idea how to do this or what to do other than what I had seen others doing, what they were suggesting, what they were sharing, and learnt from their own breadcrumbs of what they had left in getting to their own success. And that is enough. That's all you need to do. You need to have the excitement, the motivation, the willpower, and just give it a go. Learn as you go. That is the only way that you're going to be able to progress with ease, or even if it is hard, that is the only way to progress. Just getting started and continuing to rinse and repeat. All you have to do is see, understand, apply yourself, and then rinse and repeat through the learnings of repetition 1. And then you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again. Now, if I was to look back and think about, well, what are the big takeaways over the last 2 years of doing 100 episodes and doing this podcast and the broader ecosystem that I've created with Feather Your Lifestyle and where I want to take this, I think it can be summed up into these dot points. And I've written these down because, I was brainstorming and I really want to make sure that I bring these home for you. And that is no action is a decision. You are deciding to not do. Thus, you must live with that decision. Remember that. If you take no action, you are deciding not to take action, meaning you need to be comfortable with that. You need to own that. You need to be accountable to that. So don't complain if things aren't happening, right? Because it comes back on you. Now, at the same time, action to do is an enabler which will create opportunity for momentum and the ability to repeat for the better. Again, when you do something, you get all of a sudden this experience and you get a whole bunch of learnings. Now, when you go do something again in the same context, you're going to be able to do it a little bit quicker. You're going to have a better understanding. How you apply yourself will be a little bit different than the first time. You're going to be iterating your ability to grow and to progress and to gain momentum. Dreams will always be dreams unless you start walking the path which create them into the reality. It's such a cliche. It gets thrown around so often, but the reality is that is the reality of it. If you don't start taking the action, as we've just said before, nothing's going to happen. These dreams aren't going to land in your lap. So you need to be making sure you're ticking off or checking off or chipping away at things that make this happen. The only thing possible is what we deem. Thus, don't think too little and don't be overwhelmed by the big ideas. I've got huge ideas, but I also understand there is a big gap in between of I need to go do the experience, go do the learning, and go do the work and figure out how to make that happen. Now, it might take 1 year, it might take 5 years, it might take 7 years, it might take 10 years or longer. But the idea is the journey through all that is so exciting, and there's nothing like it because, again, you can go learn from someone else. Like me telling all this, you can understand it or maybe think, oh yeah, that makes sense. I just need to go do action. But until you go do the action, that's when you start to click. That's when you start to realize how things can get quicker, how things hard can be, but also how all of a sudden you can see that things can start to open up and things can start to show you a pathway of how you're going to get to where you want to be. The other thing, another big learning from all of this has been asking people for help and surrounding yourself with people that you want to be like and that bring the positivity. That is key. That is important, right? And having that mentality space of people that are uplifting you and helping you get to where you want to be, there's nothing like it. There is nothing like it. The other thing is when you start, it is hard, but then it's no longer hard, right? And what once was a struggle becomes, I guess, this normal or this norm, and then it becomes a cycle of opportunity of growth. A lot of the same stuff that I've just said, but that is the reality of it as well. Like, I remember doing the first podcast. If you go listen to my first couple of podcasts, like, oh, well, I can hear it in my voice. I'm nervous. I'm awkward. I'm, thinking too much. I'm not really in the zone because I'm focusing too much on what people are going to be thinking about the episode. But I got it done. Now when I talk, I honestly feel more confident. I feel more comfortable, and I feel more that I have an authority to be able to share this because I've shown up. I've done it. I've got something to give. I've got something to share. Talking about furthering your lifestyle, when I hadn't really left my job and I hadn't really, got anything behind me other than, hey, I'm trying to give this a go. It's a bit nerve-wracking because who's going to listen to you? Why should someone listen to you? Now, I'm not saying that I've got all the answers. I'm not saying that I've got it all figured out, but I am saying that I've got a whole bunch of experience now, a whole bunch of backlog of, trialing and failing and learning and experiencing, which it means I'm 2 years, 3 years ahead of someone else that wants to start doing something in the same realms, whether it's podcasting, whether it's building a brand, whether it's starting their own business or doing a YouTube channel or anything like that, or even running, for instance. That's all the things that I focus on. So that gives me an advantage to be able to show up and help others get to where they want to be, or to give insight of how to apply themselves, which is the Further Your Lifestyle brand, essentially. So with that, another quick reflect is at the time of recording this, I'm sitting on about 4,845 downloads, which again is incredible. A big thank you to everyone that has come in and actually listened to this. And I was wrong at the start. I thought I said 35 to 45, but it's actually, on average, I'm getting about 48 people listening to each episode on a weekly basis, which that's like 2 classrooms showing up weekly to listen and to learn and to have the conversation. And this is where it gets cool. Like, speaking of having the conversation, you know how I love to finish the episode with, continue the conversation, reach out, have a conversation, leave me a comment. Well, that's what I want to introduce into this episode. I want to share with you something very, very exciting that I'm bringing to the podcast that I think will enable us to continue that conversation, enable you to reach out and to continue that conversation. Look, I want to interact with you guys because my goal is I want to help people further their lifestyle. I want to help you further your life. And the way to do that is to interact with you. Now, I've been able to put together a way that we can interact, you as a listener, to send through a question, a message, or ideas or reflections, or anything in relevance to what we talk about here on the podcast. And I'm inviting you to do so. And that tool is called SpeakPipe, which essentially allows you as a listener to send in like a voicemail or a voice message of sorts directly from your phone or directly from this website, and I can then include them into the episodes. Now, I can do this in any different way, but essentially, if you do want to try this, you can go to www.speakpipe.com/furtheryourlifestyle, and that's speakpipe.com/furtheryourlifestyle. Jump over there, www.speakpipe.com/furtheryourlifestyle. All the details are below in the description as well, and if you're watching in all the different mediums, YouTube, all that jazz, there is a link there. But essentially, we can do so many things here. I've got so many ideas, and I'd love to hear from you as well, what your ideas may be. But we can do Q&A episodes. We can be diving back into episodes that I was doing around Further Your Idea. We can do topical discussions, highlights from, yourself, or hearing your own insights on topics and ideas. But as I have guests, I can give you, a lead up time of saying, I'm going to have a guest coming in at this certain time, and you can send in a live question if you wanted to. So there's so many ways that we can do this, and I'll be progressing more into this over the coming weeks of how we can interact. But firstly, if you're keen to interact, feel free to jump over there now, over at SpeakPipe, and get on the ball. Be the first one. Leave a short message. Say hi. Ask for a question. Give me a congratulations for the 100 episodes. Or share what you've learned from the first 100 episodes. Or maybe let me know when you first jumped in. Maybe, when did you first listen to this podcast? What episode was it? I would love to know. I would love to hear from you. And I will say, for the first 5 people that send me in a voice message for the Further Your Lifestyle podcast over via SpeakPipe, I'll gift you a free Further Your Lifestyle pin. Yep, I will. You'll have to enter your email address when you do leave that voice recording, and I'll send you an email. I'll reach out to you. I'll get your details, and I'll send you for the first 5 people only. So this is on you. If you want to do it, this is your chance. So with all this in mind, one way that I want to make sure you understand how it works, and also a way to celebrate and to just soak it all in, because it's kind of surreal still. A way to celebrate was, I've been honored to have some of my previous guests send in, just some different voice messages and some comms using SpeakPipe of their own. And some I've already listened to because I wanted to make sure that it was working and all that jazz, but some of them I haven't. And we're going to listen to some of those live right now, and I'm going to react and reflect on those conversations and what they've shared and whatnot. I have no idea. I did, reach out to a whole bunch of people, and I do apologize that I realized I missed a few people off those comms, previous guests. So I do apologize, but by all means, please jump in and leave a message by SpeakPipe now. And, I reached out to him saying, this is what I'm going to be doing. And I said to him, you can say hi, you can leave a message, you can send a celebration, you can share what you've learned or whatever it may be, right? So I have no idea what I'm walking into here, but I do have a little bit of an idea as well. Let's have a listen and let's hear what they have to say. What I'll be doing is I'll give you a bit of an idea of who they are, just in case you're not sure. Again, I'm not sure if they're going to be saying who they are in the message, so I'll make sure I put that up front so people understand who they are. Some of them are a bit longer, so I don't know if I'll be listening to the whole thing. I might cut out little bits and parts, just because, again, I don't have a full understanding of what they've shared in these little voice memos, but I wanted to make sure I give you guys a whole experience of what this could look like going forward for when you send in your own voice memos. So let's dive into this. All right, so the first one that I have, and again, I'm super grateful for everyone that has sent these through. We're going to listen to these live. Some of them, as I said, I have actually listened to, but I haven't tried to listen to them too much because I want to react to them live and be able to give my thanks and hear what people are saying. So the first one that I actually have is here from Matt Lees. And Matt, he was one of my earlier guests, actually. I've had him on the channel twice. So he's the owner of the video game store, Retro Gaming. Local guy here in, he's in New South Wales, Sydney, around that area. And again, just totally amazed by when I first reached out to Matt I had no idea who he was, how old he was, and what he was doing, but I was pretty inspired by the Retro Gaming brand at the time. And when I found out that he's just a young chap, enjoying his passion and turning it into a business, I was blown away, absolutely blown away. So appreciate you, Matt. Let's have a listen to what you have to say.
Hey, Chris, congrats on 100 episodes on Further Your Lifestyle. It is amazing to see what you're doing. Ever since I met you, nearly a year or 2 years ago, it's been incredible to watch your journey across YouTube, across Spotify, across every platform that you're on. You're constantly working hard. You're constantly striving for the best. And it's always been amazing to have chats with you, to get to know you better, and all the help that you've given me. So thank you so much for your help to me, and thank you for helping so many other people as well that listen in. And I hope that this isn't the first 100. I hope there's going to be another 500. I hope there's going to be another 500 on top of that. And I hope this keeps going and going and going, because take it to the moon. Take it to the moon. Love you, Chris. Congratulations.
Oh, cheers, man. I really appreciate it, man. Love that. Take it to the moon. Hashtag take it to the moon. Yeah, man, it's been an absolute awesome experience to have you part of this journey and to also, follow your own journey. And I know we have regular catch ups and we're always talking and whatnot. So, the thing that I've learned from Matt is that you're never too young to start, but at the same time, that's the beauty of starting young is if things don't go as planned, there's plenty of time to adapt, to change, and to pivot and adjust and figure out what it is that exactly that you want. So Matt, really do appreciate you, buddy, and thanks for the congrats and all the wishes for the all the more episodes. And I'll have to have you come back on and we can continue that conversation. Appreciate you, buddy. All right, so the next one that I have is here from Kevin Exconde. Now, Kevin, my main man, we've been good friends for early COVID days. We started off like this YouTube family group in terms of we were kind of all small channels helping each other and reaching out to each other. And when Kevin and I first met, I don't know what it was. I think he did a video on skip roping or jump roping, whatever you want to call it. And I was inspired by how he filmed that. At the time, I wasn't doing any business content. I was just doing pure running content. Anyway, we hit it off and now we catch up on a regular basis, probably once a month, and chit chat and just share our own progress. And I haven't listened to this yet, and I'm excited to hear what Kevin has to say. I feel like he's like a best mate, which even though I've never met him in person because he lives in Canada, I feel like, we've known each other since we were kids. So appreciate you in advance, Kevin. Let's have a listen.
CL, congrats on the 100th episode. That's wild. I still remember being on one of the first episodes and just getting into this a couple of years back. So my favorite part of this whole thing is the consistency and the way you practice what you preach. It's been amazing to see the growth of you outside of this podcast, but also with this podcast, and just developing your skills as an entrepreneur, as a content creator has been amazing, and sharing the journey of others through this podcast. Can't wait to see the next 100 episodes, and congrats again, brother.
My man. Appreciate you, Kevin. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, it's been crazy to think about what you can achieve when you stay consistent, right? And you know this, and we'll have to have you back on the pod very shortly to give an update and help people understand what consistency really does. People can obviously see here that I've done this and I've achieved this or whatever, but the whole point of this podcast is to help encourage others, right? And you're a great example, Kevin, of someone that else is, showing up on a regular basis and getting the work done with your own business and things like that. So appreciate it, Kevin, and mate, it's been an absolute honor to have met you online and now to continue to grow together and help each other. So thank you again, mate. I really do appreciate it. The next one is Aaron Maltz. So he's from FitLab. He's started doing business now. He's actually from the same circles of when I originally met Kevin as well. And we've probably been chatting for, it probably is about 3 years or so, myself and Aaron, and really amazing guy, really inspiring, and he's got an amazing backstory, and he's one cool guy. He's got all the latest gadgets and gizmos, and when he does things, he does it with a bang, and he does it big, and he does it bold, and that's what I love about Aaron. So appreciate you, buddy. Let's have a listen and see what Aaron has to say.
Chris, I just want to say, I can't believe it's been nearly 3 years since I first met you through our respective journeys on YouTube as fellow content creators. I also can't believe you've hit 100 episodes in your podcast, and I've really enjoyed following your journey with both your YouTube channels and your podcast, as you've grown so much in every way in that time. I've definitely grown and improved the quality of my own content on my fitness YouTube channel called FitLab as well, and also continuing to build my online fitness coaching in that time. And a big part of that was having people like you in my life who were true friends and gave honest feedback and inspired me to keep being better than I was yesterday. You've always been such a positive force who inspires your friends, your viewers, and listeners to be the best they can be and to lead with their intention. I'm grateful to call you a friend these past few years and to always having your kind support. I also wanted to thank you for having me on your podcast, which I think was episode 17, and still has the unique distinction of being the only shirtless photo you've ever had of someone on your thumbnails. Anyway, looking forward to all the great things that come in your future and to the next 100 podcast episodes and beyond. And I hope to have the opportunity to record another podcast with you at some point down the road. Keep inspiring and doing great things, Chris.
Mate, really do appreciate it. I love that flexing the shirtless photo. Guys, if you haven't seen that episode, go check it out. And it's a long one, but it's well worth it. And Aaron, like I said, he has a whole big long story of just where he's come from, what he's achieved, and where he's going. And I was motivated by it. And mate, the pleasure's all mine to have been able to connect with you and call you a friend and to be able to have those conversations. I know we don't talk as much as we have in the past, but by all means, when we do, they're always big conversations, and I appreciate it so much. And you've got big things ahead of you, and you know this, and I know that, and what you've been able to create since I've met you as well, it's super encouraging. And one thing that I've really appreciated from Aaron is when we first connected, you know, I was talking to him about, you know, me stepping away from the 9 to 5 and jumping into all this. And, you know, he gave me some really good insight and some really good things to think about and some encouragement. And, you know, he wasn't just going to say, yeah, just risk it all and go for it. But he really challenged the way I was thinking and made sure that I knew what I was doing. And I really am grateful for that because, you know, I spoke about this earlier in the podcast today, whereas you need to have people around you that are going to help you and encourage you and not influence you in the sense for making a decision that isn't your own, but help you understand, is this the right decision to be making? And having that positivity around you and surrounding you is what's going to enable you to get ahead. So Aaron is one of those people. So really do appreciate it, mate. And we will catch up soon. I'll have to have you on the pod again. We can hear about all your progress, all your updates. It's been an absolute honor to have you along this journey and to be part of your own. Go check out his stuff, guys. Go check out his channel. Go check out, you know, what he's doing over there and all the details. So any of these people, if they've got their own little things, I'll put all the descriptions below so you can go check them out. All right, the next one is from Clara Kim. Now, I met Clara on Instagram, actually, just kind of cold reached out because when we first met, she was making pet furniture. She has a woodworking background, and I was absolutely just blown away with her skills and her ability to just create things. You know, one thing that I've always mentioned on this podcast is I love people with passion. I love seeing people create, and I love seeing people be able to take that and turn it into something which they can make a lifestyle from, which is the Further Your Lifestyle brand, essentially. And Clara has done exactly that. And I know she's evolved in how she goes about doing her woodwork and setting up a shop and all these amazing things. And now she pumps out a lot of content with her partner as well, you know, via, you know, shorts and YouTube and on Instagram. And I think she's even on TikTok as well. So I'm excited to hear from Clara. Let's have a listen.
Hey, Chris. First and foremost, congratulations. 100 episodes? That's amazing. It's so cool that you're searching for people who are passionate about their fields and sharing their stories. I know that for me, it's been really eye-opening to hear about so many incredible people hustling in different areas and lifestyles. Hearing their stories is motivating and reminds me that the hard times are worth it to build the life of my dreams. Things have changed a lot since I first talked with you. After some self-discoveries, I've pivoted my direction from simply pet products to more woodworking artistry, something more true to my personality. As a result, things have grown far beyond what I could have ever imagined. And even now, I'm still learning, growing, and tweaking my direction. Chris, I wish you the absolute best. Keep your natural fire and passion burning bright. Getting to talk with you was honestly a major boost to my confidence and has without a doubt shaped how I've grown. I appreciate all that you do and can't wait to hear when your podcast has reached 200 episodes and beyond. Cheers.
Oh, thanks very much, Clara. I really, really do appreciate that. And right there is exactly what, you know, the whole purpose of this podcast is to help inspire other people to, you know, pursue their passions, dreams, goals, and all that, right? And, you know, I obviously know that Clara has made some changes of how she's, you know, focusing on what she wants to create, what she wants to do. And again, that's her decision and everything like that. And that's what I love to hear, is that as we progress over time, as we continue to experience and as we continue to learn, that's how we can get ahead. And that is a perfect example. And Clara, I'll have to have you come back on and we can talk about, what's changed, how you're growing. And I know you're growing because I've seen what you're doing, and I've seen I know that they're just vanity metrics in terms of, how many people are following you, how many people are asking questions, but to see that community thrive and what you've created, it's encouraging, right? And I love being able to be part of that journey, even if it's a small part, and see you thrive, because at the end of the day, that's what I want for other people, is to have that lifestyle that they're living with purpose and living knowing that they've created it and it's their own journey and their own dream. So really I'm very, very humbled and so grateful for that message, Clara. It means the absolute world to me. Thank you so much. And keep doing what you're doing, and we'll have you back on the pod. The next one is from Anthony Bailey. It also might be from his wife. I'm not sure. I had them both on as guests, and really, really do appreciate Anthony and what he's done over the years. He's been one to always encourage me way before he was a guest, and way before, I was even doing the podcast. He was from one of my earlier circles in the running space as well. And he's, also probably interacted with some of the other fellow guests as well. And the thing I love about Anthony is he's also recently taken, when I say recently, it's probably been a year, a chance on himself and started his own business and all that jazz. So I'm excited to hear what Anthony has to say. Let's dive into it.
Congratulations, my friend. It has been an amazing journey to be a part of. 100 episodes. Wow, that is a huge milestone. I'm so happy for you. My favorite part of the podcast is just your little nuggets of positivity that you share, and use those to kind of share how you use them in your personal journey to help others in theirs. And that's I love how you share that aspect of it. So we actually connected back in, I believe, 2020. We were fellow YouTubers, running stuff, and then I ended up being a guest on your show with my darling wife. So that was a fantastic experience, and it's just been a fun journey to know you. We've actually chatted a few times offline, and you've guided me in my life. And since I started my own business, I quit my 9-to-5 also, just like you did. You were kind of sort of the inspiration behind that. As I say, well, if he can do it, why can't I? So I appreciate the motivation to do that, and it's been fantastic. And I'm so happy for your many achievements and your positive force. You're an amazing person, and I'm honored to be your friend. Here's to 100 more episodes plus. Enjoy. Thank you, Chris. Bye.
Oh, thanks, Anthony. That's really beautiful, mate. And again, like I'm totally just I'm almost speechless. 100% grateful to be able to have met you and had those conversations, mate. And that's what I love about being able to share journeys and reflect, is then when we look back and see how far we've come, right? When we first were YouTubers together, and when we still are YouTubers, but in that kind of level of interaction, and then having different conversations, and then me taking my path and my journey, and then you doing your own. And look, mate, I'm totally honored to be able to say that I helped inspire you to do it. And that's exactly right. Like, if I can do it, anyone can do it. Anyone can do these things that they want to achieve. It's what, if we're willing to be accountable and responsible for it. And I know you're doing great, and I know it's not easy. I know that, but you're doing great, mate. And again, super, super proud of you for what you've been able to achieve. And I thank you for the feedback and the encouragement, because it's these little things. And you've actually probably been one of the main, or the most, or the biggest person to respond, send me messages, leave me voice messages prior to all this. And it's always encouraging to hear it, because I know you used to listen a lot of the time on your way to work and things like that. So it means the absolute world to me, mate, to be part of your journey and to have you part of mine. And I know we've been chatting that we've got to catch up, and again, have you on the pod to help people hear what you've been up to, what you've been able to achieve, to, again, hopefully you can then go ahead and inspire others to, take that leap, or to take that jump into whatever it is that they want to achieve, because it's stories like that will help people do it, as you know, right? And again, mate, really, really do appreciate everything that you've done, and just support, and having me on your little show that you do on your Instagram and things like that. It means the absolute world to me, and I'm proud to call you a friend as well, buddy. So we'll talk soon. Really do appreciate you. The next one is Taylor. Now, Taylor, again, it's when I was going guest hunting, I think Taylor came on last year. It's a bit of a blur, but when I first met her, it was via Instagram. You know, she was doing some pretty cool things. I was looking for someone in the NFT, Web 3.0 space, and really, when reaching out to guests, it's a bit scary because you don't know how people are going to interact. You don't know what people are going to say. Actually, I remember now. I think Taylor actually reached out to me first. I think she did, and kudos for that, Taylor, because I think we had been in similar circles on Instagram, and now I do recall you reached out to me, and I was like, yeah, sure, let's give it a go, like by all means. And I'm so grateful for that because I know that, you know, from, you know, our conversations, and you further connected with, for instance, Ethan Rushock, and, you know, now you guys have been able to work together, and just seeing what you've been able to create as well with your own brand and everything that you're doing has been super encouraging and super exciting to be able to just be associated with. So appreciate you. And I know you have a really good taste in fantasy books. So I really do appreciate that too. So let's have a listen. This one's from Taylor.
Hey Chris, happy 100. So good, fam. So good. And congrats. Massive congrats. Thank you for putting out into this world what you put out, because these are messages that are needed. These are messages that are needed massively. And again, thank you so much for the book chats. I will send you another pic at the shelf too. Well, have a brilliant one.
Thanks so much, Taylor. And look, I really, really do appreciate it. And it's small things like this. And the thing that I take away from a lot of all these conversations and these messages is that, you know, I'm here sharing my journey. I'm here encouraging others, you know, whether it's having guests on or just sharing snippets of information. And to be able to think that someone might take that and be inspired by it blows my mind, right? Even though that's what my goal is, it's still very encouraging to know that people are listening, people are doing, and inspired, encouraged, and motivated by it. And we all have our different ways of how we learn and operate, and, you know, take things to then go experience for ourselves. And again, I'm super grateful to be able to be part of people's journeys, to be able to see these things come to life. So Taylor, really do appreciate the congratulations, and yeah, you know, what you've done in the last year as well. I've seen you grow your brand and grow your ability to help others even further, you know, just with what you've been sharing and on your socials and things like that. So folks, go check out Taylor, especially if you're curious in the Web 3.0 space and all that jazz. She does a lot of other things as well. So she's not just known for that. She does a lot of other things as well. So a really good creative. All right, team, let's jump over to the next one. This next one has come through from EllenaGrace. Now, EllenaGrace, or Elena, and her partner, Avince, they were actually my first guests here on the podcast, so I'm super grateful for both of them. Bit of a dream team that I've always called them that, and I'm really grateful just for them to be part of my journey from day one. It's been great to be able to watch them grow and see what they've been achieving over the last couple of years as well. So I have no idea if this is from both of them or if it's just from Elena. It might just be from Elena. So let's have a listen.
Hello, Chris. It's EllenaGrace. Wow, congratulations on reaching 100 episodes. It has been such a pleasure to have been a small part of your journey, and I'm so honored and humbled to have been one of the first guests on the podcast. Listening to your content has honestly inspired and encouraged me so much. What really sticks out to me about one of which you remind us all is about acknowledging our small wins. There's something so special about that message that I feel truly ignites a spark in all of us, because I feel like it really lifts us up to make us feel like we're all out here just really doing the best that we can, and you do it in such a compassionate way. Thank you for doing all that you do. Thank you for showing up every day to pour into all of our cups. Thank you for being such a light to us all. I am truly so honored to know you, and I can't wait to see all the great things that you have in store and that you create next.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And, you know, you're not just a small part of this journey. You've been a big part, as I said. You know, you're one of the first guests, and that means the absolute world to me, because it means that you believed in me to actually come onto the podcast, and here I am 100 episodes later, and making it happen. And that's why we're celebrating 100 episodes. It's a big win. It's a small win. In the long run, it's a small win, but to me, it's a big deal at this point. So to have you share that really means the world to me, and I'm so grateful to have you part of this journey and to be part of my community as well. So thank you so much. Yeah, well, there we go. Let's jump into the next one. The next one is Avince. He actually did send one through. It came through a little bit later, so thanks for sending it through, Avince. Again, Avince has been, he was one of the first guests, and obviously being the partner to Elena, so I really do appreciate you, buddy. Looking forward to hearing from you, and yeah, it's just crazy to think how far things have progressed, and I know you were doing some pretty amazing things at the moment, so yeah, let's have a listen.
Hey Chris, it's Avince from Florida. Congrats on the 100 episodes on your podcast. I believe my favorite part about your podcast is just listening to everyone's perspectives about, their different lifestyles and different passions. What I really liked about your YouTube content especially is you just keep doing it. The consistency, you told me personally, 1% a day is all you really need to find success. And I definitely could see that with your podcasts and with your YouTube videos. Let's see. Where was I when I met you? I think I just dropped out of college and I was starting this videography business, video editing, photography business. And you gave me some encouraging words that I took to heart, and I really loved those words. I've come so far. I've had multiple clients, been around the world mostly. Hopefully I can keep that up. And I'm just excited for the future. I'm also excited for your future. Let's get to 500 episodes, maybe 1,000. Cheers, mate.
I love it, Vince. Yeah, no, I appreciate it, buddy. And yeah, you're doing some pretty cool stuff. As you said, traveling around the world, and you've started your business, you got multiple clients, mate, you're killing it. And, I think once we realize that things just take time and consistency and action, it can only get better. And I was actually reflecting back, and I rewatched the first episode with you guys, the first guest episode that I had done. And at the time, I felt like it was, I was out of my comfort zone. I was definitely, I was learning and figuring it all out. But I look back at that and see what the content looks. There's nothing wrong with the content, but I feel awkward. I watch it and I feel like, wow, I was so new at this, and now I can feel more confident and look back and see how far I've come from. And it's always good to do that, to reflect on where we've come from. And dude, you're doing some amazing things. So keep rocking, and I'm sure you'll go far as well. And yes, here's to 500 episodes, and here's to 1,000. And mate, hopefully you're back on a couple of those in between that count. So really do appreciate you, buddy. Well, there you go. And I'm just overwhelmed with the love. I'm totally grateful. I'm encouraged. I'm motivated. I'm inspired. And thank you so much to all those that have sent those through, and to thank you to you that is listening or watching this on the YouTube. Before I wrap up, I want to remind you with a few things and just leave you on a high with some motivation, but keeping it really raw. And I want to convict you, right? I want to make sure that you're not leaving this episode without going away wanting to just go for your dreams, right? And make it happen. But this is the reality. Consistency over a long period of time, I guess with a dob of reflecting and application, can slingshot your life into a whole new world. And what I mean by that is, please do not assume that you have time to do what you want, like to chase these dreams or those dreams one day, because that day may never come. And the other thing to think about is that day can be today. You can start today. You can start today. It will take you time to get what you want. That's the reality of it. Whether it's going to take you 1 week, 6 months, 2 years, 5 years, 20 years. Like, think about it. Someone doesn't get into a 20-year career without spending 20 years in their career. That's just the reality of it. But don't let your 10-year dream in the making take 30 or 40 years to come to being, because you're too busy focusing on someone else's dream, or you're tied up with other things, or you're working too hard for the sake of just working too hard. And this applies same for your 6-month goal or your 2-year master plan or whatever it is. We can put all the different time frames on it, but the reality is you have to remember that 1 hour today or 1 hour for the next 7 days can enable you to exponentially grow so quick, right? I used this analogy not that long ago in an episode, talking about if we invest $100 today and do nothing with it for 10 years, let's say it had an annual interest rate of 5%, you would have $165 in 10 years. It's not much. It really is not much. However, if you were to invest $100 today and doing the same for each month for the next 10 years, again with a 5% annual interest, so you're doing $100 today, $100 next month, $100 next month for the next 10 years, yes, you would have invested $12,000, but you would have come out with $3,593 in interest, meaning you'd have $15,693 in return. What do I mean by this? Well, the same applies to your time. How you invest your time, how you use your time, how you learn with your time, and then how you execute with that time. It pays dividends. It will grow and compound of what you're able to achieve. It is a small step to a greater journey. So if you would like to leave a message, please go ahead, drop a message over at speakpipe.com/furtheryourlifestyle. It would mean the absolute world to me. And I'm looking forward to this. I'll be pushing this harder and harder each week because I want to see how we can grow together, and I want to see how I can help you, and you can help me. You can give me some insights. And look, depending on how many people come through with messages and things, you might not get your answer or you might not get yours added in straight away. It all really depends. I've got to figure this out as I go. But by all means, please understand that I listen to every single one, and I'll do my best to incorporate them into the show, whether it's directly into the next episode or as the episodes come to being. And if for some reason I can't include it, I'll send you an email and let you know why. Now, if you are not sure what to share, tell me what you want in 1 year, in 2 years, in 5 years, or in shorter. What is it that you're working towards? Let me know. I would love to be inspired by this and be encouraged by this. I'd love to hear it from you. This is your opportunity. This is your chance to share and to continue the conversation. And that's what I want to do with you, is to continue the conversation. Really do appreciate you being here. Again, if you enjoy this, please do leave a like, leave a subscribe, leave a comment. You can send a SpeakPipe now. And if you enjoy these episodes, the best thing that you can do is really just share them to other people and let them know why they need to be over here listening to the Further Your Lifestyle podcast. Really do appreciate you. You have a wonderful day. Cheers.